What is going on, everybody? And we are so glad that you are back for another. I've been trying to not say episode because I see that on Twitter too much. A new episode of a podcast is up, and I feel like the word is
Oh,
overused.
it's new though. It's new. Everything real brand new right now.
That it is, man. It is the Believe in Bears podcast. We are so glad you guys are listening to us. We are the Blitz. It is Marshall Harris. It is 9-year NFL vet Clay Harbor, and I am Gabe Ramirez holding things down for you guys. We got a lot of things to talk about today. Bears get the victory 24-17 against the Tennessee Titans. Very close to my prediction, by the way, of 27-17. I want to throw that out there. But we'll be talking about the woes on offense from Caleb Williams. We'll be talking about the highs on defense with the Chicago Bears team. And then we'll get into some nitty-gritty. Don't forget, you can always add us. We are reading all of your tweets and messages to us. So follow us on social media. And then, of course, stream Believe in Bears wherever you get your podcast. All right, we're going to kick things off the way we always do. We call it Truth Be Told. 3 conversation starters from the 3 fellas right here. I'm going to go first, and I'm going to say, truth be told, no wide receiver on the Chicago Bears will have 1,000 yards by the end of the season.
Woo! No, I completely disagree with this.
I want deep down in my soul to disagree with this, Marshall.
Okay, but I think you're looking at the small sample size of one game, a rookie making his debut. You look back and see rookies have been 0-14-1 in the previous
since 02 with Derek Carr.
Yeah, so like you look back at what number 1 overall picks have done, and the fact that Caleb Williams even got a win. It was not pretty. No one's sitting here saying it was pretty.
Caleb Williams did not get a win. Caleb Williams did not get a win. The Bears defense got a win.
I disagree. Yeah. You win as a team, you lose as a team. Here's why they did get a win, and Caleb Williams is responsible for the win. He did not turn the ball over. Simply put, he did not. The difference in the game is Will Levis turned the ball over, and it was 6 points the other way.
I mean, Caleb Williams certainly had some moments where they could have been interceptions, balls that were deflected, balls that were batted in the air, and even ones that hit defenders right in their body that got projected up in the air. I just look at it like this. I look at Keenan Allen getting 13 targets yesterday. Caleb Williams just strikes me as a guy, after what I saw yesterday, is going to move the ball around. And I just assume that somebody's going to get hurt at some point. So even if a guy has 800, I feel like maybe injuries might get in the way. But I also think the way he moves the ball around. So it's not necessarily a knock on Caleb Williams. It's just more so thinking like, all right, we're not going to see 2 guys getting 150 yards every game like some people thought. I mean, it might look a little bit like
think
this.
That. No one. Well, we had this conversation. That's 300 yards off 2 people. That's 300 yards off 2 people.
Yeah. But you and I had this conversation when I asked how many people were going to get 1,000 yards, and you guys mentioned more than one receiver. That
I thought 2.
That's what I'm saying. So
this was historically bad game. I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This was historically bad, even though he's a rookie. He's a first overall pick. This was a historically bad game. The stat that really jumped out to me was in modern history, there are 2 quarterbacks that have attempted over 25 passes and thrown for less than 100 yards. Caleb Williams and Desmond Ridder. In history, over 25 passes. So obviously he's got to clean a bunch up. We're not panicking. We're not jumping out the window yet and saying Caleb's a bust. But he has got a lot to clean up. He was missing guys. He was slow on some throws. He looked like the NFL game was too much for him at times. And obviously it's one game, first game of the year. He can clean this up and continue to get better. We're not panicking, but it was really bad.
Ultimately, why he's going to get 1,000-yard receiver is you only have to average 58.8 yards per game to get 1,000 yards. It's a 17-game season. That's I think the bottom line for me. I think he's going to settle in. Guys are going to have games, big games. And therefore, not every game, but enough to get 1,000 yards. So I'm not really concerned about it.
We don't know how long Keenan Allen's out for. Keenan Allen, you saw him. He left the game.
That's more targets for DJ Moore and Rome Odunze, Cole Kmet, whoever you want to say. That's all I'm going to say about that. Truth be told, all that matters is that the Bears won. Nothing else matters. You can sit here and dog out the offense, whatever. All that matters is that they're 1-0, because if they were 0-1, this is a very different discussion. And at the end of the day, you need 10 plus wins to get to the playoffs. They are on their way.
Yeah, it's difficult to win in the NFL, this we know, and you have to find unique ways to pull off victories. And the Bears did that yesterday. It'd been quite a while since we've seen this Bears team is look like, the old, right, where the defense was dominant enough to score some points. Special teams, since Hester, is putting some points on the board. It felt good to see that. The win is all that matters, Marshall. You're absolutely right. 100% correct. It doesn't matter. You heard Eberflus in the post game, talking about team victories, and then you heard Kari Blasingame when he was breaking the team down after that, saying, "Hey, offense, you're gonna win us some games," and that is gonna be the case. So, yeah, win is the win. Clay, don't be shaking your head over there, trying to like poo-poo on this first Bears dub.
I'm sorry. This isn't a sustainable form of victory.
No, they're gonna get better.
It's week one.
Winning is all that matters at the end of the day. But you look at, say, the Philadelphia Eagles last year. People were saying that too. Looked at them all year. Hey, they still won. They're 11-0 or 10-0. Next thing you know, they lose 7 straight games and get bounced in the playoffs. Winning matters, but how you win matters too when it comes to what type of a football team you want to be and you're becoming. For me, when you watch the film, the win is the most important. How you won. How did you play? What did you do as far as skill? Were you lucky in some situations? Did you win because Will Levis, the mayonnaise man, was giving you gifts that nobody else is going to give?
That we told you that he was going to give, by the way.
Okay, so to me, you had a 14% chance of winning before, according to ESPN Analytics, before that interception or block punt. So how you win matters because this isn't sustainable.
All right. What's your truth be told, Clayson? Because I'm feeling you got a good one over there.
Now, truth be told, this Bears defense is top 5 in the NFL.
Whoa. No, not going there.
Not going there at all.
Not going there at all.
Here's
why, because I saw Tony Pollard drag them up and down the field in the first half.
Easily.
Okay. Now, Matt Eberflus made adjustments clearly at halftime, but what I will say is this: they're top 10, just like I thought they were. But Will Levis and company can't be out here making you can't be down 17-3.
Yeah. I mean, listen, the Titans didn't perform well necessarily on third down, but I think overall, when you're looking at that Bears defense, did they have moments? Absolutely. Those great moments. But too much time in the pocket for Will Levis to throw, right? Where he's making bad decisions, bad throws, throwing balls that are behind the receivers. So I think obviously he shot himself in the foot. The Bears defense contributed to that. But when you're looking at that defense, talking about his top 5, maybe in the second half when they shut him down, right, after putting up 17. But when you're looking at that game as a whole, I think they still fall in that 7-12 range that I was mentioning before. But I mean,
clearly a top half defense, and could they be top 5 by the end of the season? Sure, anything's possible. But I think to call them top 5 after one game, nah.
Favorite player on defense in yesterday's game.
How can it not be Darrell Taylor?
Darrell Taylor. Just give me a name, Clay, and then we'll go to the offense.
TJ Edwards.
Ooh, I love it. Oh my gosh. Okay, maybe they are top 5 after saying those two names and me getting excited.
Don't do that.
All right, we are the Believe in Bears podcast, man. Make sure you stream us everywhere you get your podcast. We are the Blitz. He is Marshall Harris, 9-year NFL vet Clay Harbor. I am Gabe Ramirez. All right, fellas, it is time to dive into that offense of the Chicago Bears. Now, obviously, we can spend a ton of time on Caleb Williams and what happened there, but give me highlight, low light. Right, for the offense. Let's start there. And then we can work our way into this thing.
My highlight is my low light. The highlight is DeAndre Swift saying, "I'm gonna jump over everybody. What's good?" and getting to 20 yards. The low light is the rest of DeAndre Swift's day. Okay.
Well, let's be fair. Okay, because you know me, Marshall. You and I are both on the same page when it comes to DeAndre Swift. Listen, when your first play of the game is a 6-yard run up the middle with DeAndre Swift, and then your next 2 are pass plays as if you are some ball, air raid team, that rubbed me the wrong way. You look at the next run from DeAndre Swift, 6 yards or 6 yards on the outside. And then what do they do? The next play, the exact same play. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what is going on here? So
then it was a whole lot of negative. It was a whole lot of negative after that.
But because they never ran him up the middle anymore. They kept trying to put him to the outside. And to me, that was odd because the run game was working. They didn't lean on it enough.
To be fair, there was a whole lot of collapse on the interior, Clay.
Yeah, but
when you look at what was happening with the pressure, it was up front.
But they never ran it again up the middle when the first play of the game was. Anyway, I'm being defensive when it comes to DeAndre Swift because I wanted to see him get the ball more. I wanted to see the Bears run the ball more. I mean, when you're looking at, excuse me, I think they had like 15 by the third quarter, and it's like 15 rushing attempts, and 2 of those were from Bayless. One of those was from Romo Dunze or something like that, or DJ Moore. It's like, feed the beast, get the guy going. This guy needs to. So for me, highlight, I agree with you. It is that jump that got me out of my seat that day. Low light, obviously the fact that Caleb Williams looked a little frazzled in the pocket, after getting some pressure up the middle. But I really wish they would have leaned on that run a little more. Clay, highlight, low light?
Tough to find a highlight, but I'd go with DJ Moore still making some plays, still had 5 catches, made some big plays. That run, that reverse he had with the big run down there near the end of the game, the rollout that Caleb hit him. He went to the sidelines for a little bit, got us all scared. But DJ Moore continued to make plays despite who's at quarterback. And my low light, it's a tie between Shane Waldron, his play calling,
Yes.
Gerald Everett getting more snaps, and Cole Kmet. We'll talk about that later. And then Coleman Shelton did not have a good game. And watching back some of the plays, man, some of the stuff is day one install. Like I've been in a lot of offenses in my day, and when it's third down, alert games. Antennas go up that they're gonna do some kind of loop, twist, stunt up front. And when you got a veteran offensive lineman going to triple team one man and let a defensive end come on a stunt and crush your quarterback without getting a hand on him, to me, that's concerning. Is it something you can fix? Yes. But just seeing the way the center position has been the past few years, this was definitely a low light because I had big expectations and hopes that we kind of fixed that. But today didn't look like it.
What was it that led you to believe they had fixed the center position? I never thought they had fixed it per se. We had guys, we didn't know who was going to be a starting center just a couple of weeks ago.
I don't know if fixing it, but honestly, guys, I mean, when you saw, I guess they're in the preseason. I thought to myself, okay, they have someone that's capable, that can snap the ball, right? Because to us as Bears fans last year, we just wanted that. Like
you
step 1A, let's just start
get the ball to the quarterback. Get the ball to the quarterback.
We didn't, and then we were so enamored with the fact that he was able to snap the ball that we forgot about the blocking.
That's a problem.
Portion.
That's a low bar. That's what we call a low bar.
It is, Marshall, and it has been for the Chicago Bears team. But it was jarring to watch those replays and to see how bad Coleman Shelton was getting beat by some of the interior linemen. Now, granted, Tennessee Titans have one of the best interior lineman duos in the NFL, but that looked like a gap. That looked like, a grown man playing against me or Clay, blocking for the tight end position. That's what it looked like back there. Was it Coleman Shelton or Clay Harbor blocking?
Oh my gosh.
Well, look, and the thing is, like you talked about the snaps for like Cole Kmet and Gerald Everett. Like, how surprising was that? And what do you think is the explanation for why?
All right, here's my rant of today, and I don't get it, Shane Waldron. I understand what you're trying to do. You think that Gerald Everett is better at certain things, and Cole Kmet maybe he's a better receiver. He's faster, he's quicker, he runs better routes. But here's the deal: when you start platooning guys like that, you give up hints, right? You are creating tendencies that defenses can see, that you run specific plays with this guy, specific plays with this guy. The value of Cole Kmet, the reason you paid him is because he can run, he can block, and he can catch. Not a lot of tight ends in the NFL can do that. You are not creating any tendencies. The defense doesn't know if he's blocking or if he's running a play action pass. You have Gerald Everett with 34 snaps, Cole Kmet with 27 snaps. To me, it doesn't make any sense. Everett might be a little quicker. Everett's 230 pounds tops. Looking at this guy, he's a receiver.
Yeah.
Cole Kmet is one of the best all-around tight ends in the league. You can do so many things with him. Cole Kmet needs to be your 1. Gerald Everett needs to be your 2. Maybe you put Gerald Everett in on hurry up 2-minute if you want, but Cole Kmet needs to be your main tight end because he can do everything. You don't create tendencies. He puts a lot of pressure on defense, will help your run game and your pass game.
Yeah, I think obviously, Cole Kmet 1 target, just not enough, right? I mean, the productivity level, people thought were going to be much higher.
27 snaps.
Yeah, you bring a great point, though, right? I mean, you want him in there so that way you can mask what it is you're doing with that Bears offense. But the Bears offense struggled. That we do know. They'll have the opportunity to bounce back next week against the Houston Texans. I will be there in Houston, which is going to be exciting. I wonder if I should bring my laptop so we can do like a live
I think
Believe in Bears while I'm there.
Because when are you coming back? That's my question.
Yeah, because I won't be back until Tuesday. You're right. So I'll bring my laptop.
I'll send you a text and remind
you. I got you. But let's talk about this Bears defense, the darling of the day for the Chicago Bears. One stat that stood out to me was time of possession, right? Because what the Tennessee Titans did well was sustain long drives. They held the ball for 34 minutes, 54 seconds compared to the Bears 25 minutes and 7 seconds. Time of possession, some of the Bears did well last year, held on to it, ran the rock. Obviously, Justin Fields controlling that offense. Yesterday was a bit different, but the defense ultimately ended up coming through in the second half and handling business for the Chicago Bears team. Marshall, when you look at this defense, I mean, I know Clay mentioned that he saw top 5 vibes from it. What do you think the biggest difference was from the first half and the second half?
They went after Will Levis. The first half seemed like Will Levis was back there having a field day, and he was just kind of going through drills, right? Second half, Matt Eberflus clearly made some adjustments because he's like, hey, we got to get after this guy because if we just let him sit back there, he's going to be able to make throws that NFL-level quarterbacks should be able to make with no pressure on them. And all of a sudden, the pressure was there. It was coming. It was all kinds of mixing up, doing different things, whether it was the front four getting more pressure or sending guys. Whatever Matt Eberflus was dialing up, it was working. And maybe it took Matt Eberflus a half to get adjusted to calling defenses. Remember, he didn't do that in the preseason.
Great point.
I think for me, I was just happy to see that same intensity level we saw in the preseason in the second half. And those guys were unleashed. They were being shot out of a cannon once again.
Clay, when you're looking at this Bears defense, obviously Darrell Taylor comes in, gets 2 sacks, gets the forced fumble. And he spoke after the game and was like, hey, man, he said he doubled down on it. I love the fact that all I got to do is rush the quarterback and I don't have to do anything else. What can you say about him and just the defensive line specifically, the Chicago Bears team yesterday?
Gervon Dexter, you talk about specifically defensive line, had a heck of a game, man. He had a big sack there. He really played well in the run game and the pass game in the second half. I was worried because last year he was so up and down, but he had a solid game. I can't wait to watch the tape, come back and look at the all-22 and see what happened there. But Darrell Taylor, impressive game. Some of his stuff was schemed up, so he does owe a little bit of it to Matt Eberflus. You look at a couple of sacks. The offensive line was confused, but that's all part of it. The guy had to finish, had to make the play, and he did that. You could tell he's got a motor. He's a guy that plays hard. He plays fast, and that's what you want in that situation. And then my other highlight for the defense is Jalen Johnson. I think he only got targeted once the entire game and gave up 1 reception for 2 yards and then comes back with an interception. To me, this guy is just going to be a lockdown corner. You're going to shut down half the field. A little concerned about Tyreek Stevenson. Yes, he did take the gift from the mayonnaise man and run it back for a touchdown. But once again, I mean, he's a guy that's going to get picked on. You're not going to Jalen Johnson. I think our linebackers had a heck of a game. TJ Edwards, I might be getting carried away, but I think he might be a top 5 linebacker in the NFL. The guy is physical. He is fast. Watching him play, he's reading plays so quick. I mean, he's there before the offensive line. If the line's pulling, he's there before him. He is reading stuff so fast. He's playing at an extremely high level, and he just seems to be getting better.
Yeah, he was definitely playing well last on Sunday, but let's not forget, last year for a good portion of the season, he was leading the NFL in tackles. So this is something he's been doing consistently. The defense as a whole, Tyreek Stevenson, man, you can say what you want, but you got to come up with the ball, right? We've seen Jalen Johnson drop so many interceptions, and we get down on him.
Saw him drop one yesterday, which he gave up on that play, by the way, and then he realized the ball was in the air. Fortunately, it was thrown short, and that's why he was able to recover from that. But Tyreek Stevenson, come on. We've been talking about how the secondary is the darling of the Chicago Bears team, and both your cornerbacks getting an interception. I mean, that is top tier defense right there. But it was all 3 levels, right? The pressure in the second half really picked up, which allowed the secondary to really do well. 2 pass deflections from both Jalen Johnson and Tyreek Stevenson. You mentioned the sacks from Taylor and Gervon Dexter. Billings was playing well up the middle, really being a presence. But the Bears defense certainly stood out. And look, I'm going to say this about the Bears defense. I told you, and I know Clay's talking about top 5 and all that, which is possible, right? But my thing is, in the second half, they made the Tennessee Titans look like the Tennessee Titans were supposed to look. That's my bottom line.
Right.
No offense is supposed to have 127 passing yards in an NFL football game. Okay. No offense is supposed to do that. Obviously gave up 140 rushing yards from last year's best rushing defense in the league. Got to fix it. But in the second half, I want to look at the stats. I think they gave up like 35 yards in the second half. To me, that's more impressive because you made the adjustments. And now you're seeing what you're doing well. Eberflus, like you said, Marshall, good point, wasn't calling plays in the preseason, wanted to get the full look of his team in the preseason. Now he's calling plays, and now he feels like he's catching on in the second half.
All right. Well, of course, the Bears will have the opportunity to clean things up again next Sunday. Sunday Night Football, Bears taking on
Whew.
the Houston Texans, who, just got down and beat the Colts barely by a couple of points. But
And we talk about leveling up, right? Because the schedule, I said the schedule is going to build in a way that week 1 at home, Titans, not a team expected to do much this season.
They look good, man.
The Texans are the darlings of the NFL because of the way CJ Stroud played and the fact that they went and did what they did in the playoffs last season. Yeah. I think this is a great test. I don't expect them to win, but let's see how they play on the road. Sunday Night Football, bright lights, should be a madhouse.
They have the bell cow and Joe Mixon, who they definitely fed yesterday. They got Stephon Diggs. I mean, the offense is looking good. All right. Well, what do you think? You think the Bears are going to win? What do you think the score will be? You can always add us on social media. You can follow us everywhere, of course, at Clay Harbs 82. Got it right finally. At M Harris on air. And you can follow me, Chicago_Gabe. Make sure you guys send us out some tweets so we can include you in our next segment, which is Add Us Then. All right. And this one coming from LeBeats50. And it said, we got rid of Justin Fields. Why? Chicago Bears, Caleb Williams, 55.7 passer rating is the 11th worst among debut quarterbacks picked first overall since 1970.
I'll tell you why.
Oh, wow. Okay, good. I'll tell
you why. Say what you want to say about the quarterback currently, Caleb Williams. He did not turn the ball over. And look, you can see what Justin Fields did in his first start with the Pittsburgh Steelers because Russell Wilson was out. They won the game.
Fumbled the first snap of the game.
Bro.
Wild.
Bro. You can't have it. You just can't have it. Yes, they beat the Falcons, and that's great. But it's not like he was out here throwing touchdown passes, right?
Yeah.
92 rating, 60 yards rushing. I thought Justin had a decent game for the Steelers. I'm not saying I'd rather have him than Caleb, but he did have a decent game.
But the turnovers were always his Achilles heel. And I think that's why we never saw him do anything in the fourth quarter of note.
Before we get out of here, I want to get your guys' take on something. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Wait, save it for the final five. No, save it for the final five.
All right.
Give me your reaction to this right here, and then we'll go to the final five.
I mean, Caleb, obviously, like I said, he had a tough game. It was bad. There's no way around it. He's missing guys. He's late on throws. He missed that out and up, which I think Gabe could have thrown. I mean, there's some hard throws in the NFL. That was not one of them to Keenan Allen early in the game.
The overshot, just straight overshot.
Yes, that was not one of those. Yeah. I mean, that's practice right there. But you think about it, Keenan Allen never drops passes. Keenan dropped his first touchdown.
Yeah.
That's a touchdown right there.
Good point.
Keenan makes that play 9 times out of 10. So I think we still got the right guy, Caleb Williams. He's going to continue to improve. He can't get any worse.
This is his first NFL game versus a guy who's been in the league for 3 years.
Yeah. And his Titans defense, I'll say no, his Titans defense is going to be not top 5. They're going to be top 10. So the Titans defense is better than the Bears defense.
Yes.
No. I don't agree with that.
I think they're going to be a really good defense.
I think they're on the same tier. I think they're top 10 with the ability to potentially advance to a top 5 defense.
All right. Well, Caleb Williams only getting sacked twice yesterday. Of course, one was a terrible one. And so we'll just chalk it up to think. That's what I'm saying. I'm pointing it out to say, like, did he really get sacked a bunch, or did he make a couple mistake on a couple of plays and then, kind of have to deal with that? All right. Last 5 minutes, the final 5. This is where we give our predictions, our outros, or just chat a little bit about the Bears. Clay, you wanted to get our take on something. What you got?
I want to get you guys' take on Velus Jones. I was to throw that name out there.
Why are we talking about him? He doesn't need to be mentioned.
Why ruin the podcast?
He who shall not be named.
Why ruin the podcast?
Why you ruin the pod by talking about? We already know what it is, Clay. He shouldn't be on the team.
Dude, I mean, like, how
he has some dirt on Matt Eberflus, I think, or Poles, one of the two. He knows something. He knows something about him. He said, "If you cut me, I'm exposing you." I mean, that's the one thing I could think of.
I mean, look, I'm glad that they took him out of the punt return right immediately. I understand that. Listen, I'm here for building morale, right? I'm here for it. I want everybody to feel good about themselves. Not in the middle of my football game. I don't need you throwing a screen to Velus Jones just to make him feel good and to touch the ball. I don't need.
What was your actual reaction? What was your actual reaction when that kickoff happened? What was your?
It made me. I'll be honest. It made me question the psyche of Bears coaches, where I thought to myself, this is not the right thing to do.
You know what's funny? It made me question the psyche of Bears fans because I was like, "Are y'all okay? Are y'all
we weren't
okay?"
We weren't okay when we saw Velus Jones touch the ball. Touch the ball again.
You got Khalil Herbert not doing nothing. Let him earn a check, get a couple returns in there. You got DeAndre Carter, who's killing it.
Yeah, Carter looked good. Carter looked good as a punt returner.
Velus Jones back there. To me, what I tweeted out was I said, this isn't even on Velus Jones anymore. This is on Ryan Poles for keeping him. We've all seen this. Shame on you. You fooled me once. Shame on me. You fooled me twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. How many games they lost?
A leopard always shows its spots. One, but also it was giving Frog and the Scorpion. You guys know about the Frog and the Scorpion?
He didn't only drop it. He kicked it to the defense.
Listen,
I don't know if I've seen that before.
it was giving Frog and Scorpion. A Scorpion is like the Scorpion's like, hey, can we get across? Give me a ride. He's like, hey, you'll sting me. He's like, I won't sting you. We'll both die if I sting you because I can't swim. Guess what? Halfway across, Scorpion stings the Frog. They both die. He's like, why'd you sting me? He's like, because it's in my nature. What we're seeing from Velus Jones Jr. is in his nature.
That's how I imagine Gabe would look trying to return a kick in the NFL.
Never.
Wow.
I would bet, and I would love to put this on camera. I would bet out of 10 punts, I will catch more than Clay Harbor.
Okay, let's not get carried away here.
You're a tight end. You're a tight end, Clay. You're a tight end. You're not a punt returner.
Punts in high school.
He's got NFL hands.
Yes.
I love that I can make an NFL player cringe at the thought of me being better of him at some.
It's not just him cringing. We're all cringing. You're even
cringing
on
got to go. Tyler Scott and Roshan Johnson were inactive for Velus Jones. Get Tyler Scott returning the ball. He's just as fast.
Speaking of that, you could tell the Bears needed a little Roshan Johnson yesterday. And I'm not a Roshan Johnson fan, but just like a change
but between
of
the
pace
tackles,
back.
he does
exactly.
He does
Exactly. I need a change of pace back, and he certainly can be that. Guys, we appreciate you hanging out with us on this quick. It's not an episode. Something else. On the next installment.
Okay, install. It's our install, Clay.
Yeah, it's our install. All right. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us, man. We will have another podcast for you Friday before the Bears head out to go face the Houston Texans, give you guys our predictions, let you know what we think. But in the meantime, make sure you follow us again, M. Harris on air on all social media platforms at Clay Harbs 82. I am Chicago_Gabe. We are the Blitz, and this is the Believe in Bears podcast. Bear down, no claws, guys, no claws as we're ending this thing. But we will see you guys next week. Oh, no. All right, take it easy, guys. We out.